Hey everybody, welcome. We're just getting started. I'm going to wait one more minute before I start introductions, but we'll get everyone in and get going here in just 1 second. I have everyone muted just for the purposes of keeping the presentation clean. So if you have a question, we're going to have a couple representatives from WeldFit on the group chat. And so if you just have a question, type it into the chat and we'll make sure to get it replied to you. All right, everybody, it's 12 o'clock. Let's get started. I wanted to thank you guys for all joining us on our second. Sorry, I'm just continuing to admit people to our lunch and learn here. So thanks for joining us. We're excited to have our second online lunch and learn for everybody here. And we're really excited. Roxy Mounter is going to be presenting on pigging and pipeline systems. So we're going to talk a lot about our SureLaunch automated trap system, but also answer any other pigging and trap questions that you might have. So I got Roxy off mute. Roxy, if you want to go ahead and take it away. You can have
yeah. So I'm Roxy Mounter, and I also have Russ Sander here. We're both at WeldFit here in Houston. And I did want to mention that if after this presentation and when we are allowed to travel again, if anybody would like a demonstration of our SureLaunch automated pigging system, we'd be happy to come to your office. We have a trailer unit and show you how it works. So first of all, I just want to talk a little bit about where automated pigging systems are used. As we all know, pipeline maintenance is a significant but obviously necessary cost. It's especially true in areas with wet gas. So this map here, it's a little bit old, but it was the latest one I could find. It's from June 2016, show the lower 48 state shale plays. This is where the majority of the automated pigging systems in existence are used. So like any liquid, you know, NGLs when they're in a pipeline will tend to flow toward the lowest points of elevation where they can then collect and form restrictions on the internal on the ID of the pipeline. This can cause a number of problems for operators. One, it can cause internal corrosion on the ID of the pipeline. It can also put additional strain on the compressors, which leads to higher costs and reduced life of the equipment. And there's also a lot of valuable money in the NGLs that are sitting on the ID of those pipelines. So in many of the areas, such as, you know, especially in the Permian Basin or even in the Bakken, there's lots of lines that need to be pigged frequently, some as often as every 4 to 6 hours, and it just gets to be very expensive and difficult to do that manually. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the various systems that are out there and then go into our patented horizontal automated pigging system. So there's several systems out there on the market. One is this this angle design here. This one here is not a WeldFit product. It was one of the earliest designs of the automated pigging system. It typically was gravity fed and sphere only type system. And these really only allowed for the use of spherical pigs. They had insertion pins in the system that would retract either hydraulically or pneumatically to allow the sphere to roll into the pipeline. A lot of the operators out there that we've found really prefer to use pigs over spheres. I've listed here a lot of reasons why. I mean, one is the unpredictable liquid removal efficiency with spherical pigs. They can also stall at different fittings, you know, barred tees, other things like that. On the bigger sizes, they can be difficult to handle. I mean, Russ, how much does a 30-inch sphere weigh fully filled with glycol?
Well, approximately 530 pounds.
Yeah, so, moving one of those things around can cause several, challenges for operators. One, obviously the weight of something that large, and then also they have to be sized appropriately before they are put into the traps, and then they just don't remove as many liquids as traditional pigs would move. Here's another type of automated pig system out there on the market. This is traditionally used for smaller type applications. It's another system that would require a platform to load these pigs versus a horizontal type system that does not require any platforms or additional lifting equipment. So this is our horizontal automated pigging system. It's called the SureLaunch. It is patented. Patent number there is shown. And what I'll show next is just a short animation of how it works. And then we'll go into a little bit more detail after that. Oops, cover it up.
WeldFit's groundbreaking SureLaunch automated pigging system can help you extend the life of your pipeline assets by making frequent pigging safer, easier, and less expensive. The SureLaunch system can hold 7 to 10 individual pigs for launch at preset intervals and can accommodate both high and low flow conditions. Using SureLaunch supports safe operations. Its large capacity and horizontal design mean your technicians spend less time loading and no time climbing, so there's less chance of injury. SureLaunch also helps protect the environment. With less pig loading, hydrocarbon emissions decrease. The electric drive system eliminates the need for supply gas, further reducing emissions. Those same design elements also help you cut costs. SureLaunch reduces manpower needs, along with transportation and field installation costs. And with fewer pig launches, you're also preserving your launcher's valve life by reducing cyclic fatigue. The system is designed to bolster productivity. Transportation and setup is simple. Once pigs are loaded, you can program them to run at set intervals, either on site or remotely, by integrating with your SCADA system. You also can package SureLaunch with SureSeal quick open enclosures. And you have solar power options for sites where grid power isn't available. SureLaunch by WeldFit works for you by streamlining your pigging operations, contributing to more pipeline system uptime, and bolstering your productivity.
So that animation is also on our website and also on YouTube if anyone wants to take a look at it again. So just some of the highlights of the SureLaunch automated pigging system. I mean, the standard unit would hold 7 2D pigs. We do have some units that are extended barrel that hold 10 2D pigs. So one of the major benefits is you're only opening and blowing down your trap 1 in every 7 times or 1 in every 10 times, depending on which system you have. So you're greatly reducing the frequency of use on your closure, your mainline valve, all of your equipment, which greatly reduces cyclic fatigue. You can tie the system into your SCADA system, so you can launch remotely from your control room, or you could set it up to launch on a time-based interval. You can also see how many pigs are left in the barrel and any other monitors or alarms you'd like to see there. It also reduces the number of times that your people are on the road because they're not going out to the trap as often to load or unload the barrel. And you can also launch ILI tools through the receiver. So when it comes time to do your inline inspection, you have a horizontal trap that would be just like a regular manual trap when you go to launch your inline inspection tools. And it can launch, it's pretty flexible as far as pig type goes. We have some customers that are running steel mandrels, others that are running the 3 or 4 cup type pigs there. And you are also drastically reducing the emissions that could be exposed. So you're reducing the amount of time, especially in NACE or sour service situations, reducing the amount of time that your people are exposed to the NACE environment there. And it does typically come skid mounted. So if you do need to move it to another location as you're expanding your pipeline system, it is easy to move and reinstall it further down the pipeline. So this is just another picture here of the internals of the system. There's a little bit more to it than what's shown in that bottom picture there. We'd be happy to go over how the internals work. That's typically best done with our demonstration unit, but if anybody would like some more information, we could set up a separate call and I could show you some videos of how the internals work. But it's an electric drive system. A lot of our customers, especially out in West Texas, are running solar power. Russ, you want to say anything about the solar power units?
Well, the solar skids seem to work real good, especially out in West Texas areas where you have good sunlight. And we have very, very little issues with them whatsoever.
And also there are bi-directional options available. So you can easily turn your launcher into a receiver if you need to flow back in the barrel for any other pigging operations there. Anything else you want to add about the bi-directional?
No, I think you covered it.
And the PLC, they typically come with an Allen Bradley PLC. And as far as that goes, if you want to make any changes or add valve control, add any other
Pressure control or pressure transmitters,
all that, you can use the PLC that comes with the unit. You wouldn't need a separate PLC to accompany your system. There's, I think, what, 13 IOs on that?
yes.
Yeah, so there's plenty of space there. This is an example here, the bottom picture of a receiving tray. One of the lessons learned early on is that it was great on the launcher end. You would load the launcher, is basically plug and play, set it and forget it. But then on the receiving side, it was proved to be a challenge to get 7 30-inch pigs, as shown here, out of the receiver. So we developed a receiving tray to help our operators get pigs out of the receiver in an easy and safe manner. So the receiving tray sits inside the receiver, the WeldFit receiver that we would make, and you can pull it out. There's a winch on the back of the receiver, the receiving tray mechanism, pull all the pigs out, and you can then load them, put them in your truck, and then take them around and load them again on the launcher. So that is available on sizes 16-inch and larger. So just some of the other things that we mentioned earlier, some of the benefits of automated pigging. So it drastically reduces methane emissions because you're not blowing down the trap as often as you need to. And the amount of emissions released is directly proportional to the barrel and line size. If anybody wants any of those calculations or whatever to figure out what the difference would be, we can help you with that. We also have a value calculator that shows that you guys can put in the inputs of what you're spending now, either if you're doing it internally or have a third party, and then you can plug that in and figure out how quick the payoff would be. And in cases where you're pigging, even as little as a couple times a week, they can pay off very quickly. Another one of the big things that's hard to quantify is the improved safety. So with the SureLaunch system, you don't need any access platforms or additional lifting equipment. As I mentioned earlier, reducing H2S, cyclic fatigue, you're not opening and closing those closure doors near as often as you would on manual systems if you're pigging them frequently. And it can also reduce oxygen exposure into your pipeline. So now we'd like to open it up for questions. I mean, Russ is here. He was on the original design team. He's got a lot of field experience. So if you have any questions on SureLaunch or just pigging in general, best practices, we'd love to entertain those now.
If you guys have any questions or want to speak your questions, just comment in the chat and then I can unmute you. So let me know. If not, we're always available via email as well.
Adam, did we have any questions come through via the chat boxes that might be good for the group to hear?
Yeah, we got a couple. So a question about cold weather performance just up in North Dakota and stuff like that. If you can comment on cold weather performance.
We've had no issues. We've got several units up in northern Utah, Wyoming, and North Dakota. We do a few things different with the PLC and whatnot, as far as there is some little heaters inside the PLC cabinet. We've got some insulated covers that can go over the PLC cabinet to help maintain the heat inside the cabinet. So there's no issues there. And then over the drive motor and gearbox itself, there's a cover that keeps it isolated from ice or snow or any kind of buildup on it.
And I think one of our customers up there has a methanol injection, right, Russ, and some other things.
Yes, some of them do use some methanol injection on the barrels just to keep from freezing up with hydrates and whatever, because they do have some hydrate problems.
And actually, some of our oldest units in service are in the Utah area, and those have been pigging, I think, every, what, 6 hours?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so pretty continuously. And sometimes those pigging frequencies can increase as the weather gets colder, you know, more liquid dropout. So that's
Exactly.
easily adjustable as well.
Just for everyone's information, can you tell us what PLC stands for?
Programming Logic Controller.
Okay. And then let's see here. The last question here is asking if the Lunch and Learn was recorded. Yes, I recorded this one and the last one. I'm still working on putting those up publicly. I've put them on my YouTube channel, but need to find a good place that's easily accessible for everybody. So I'll work on that and let everyone know. And then another question on the internals, as far as if there's any paraffin issues, or how does it hold up in sort of high paraffin situations?
Currently, all of our units are on natural gas service. So we haven't incurred any really paraffin issues whatsoever. So to be very honest with you, it's kind of hard to say.
Okay. Any other questions, anyone? We'll stay on for one more minute or so, but otherwise, thank you guys for attending. Please feel free to reach out to us, myself, WeldFit, anybody that invited you to this, if you have any other specific questions. Have a great afternoon and weekend, everybody. Thanks.